Hi guys, do you want to power something like Super Doug and a monitor and a wireless transmitter all day long, or maybe a light that you don't have to plug into the wall? Well, I got something for you. V-mount batteries. Now, a lot of people say, don't make videos about batteries. Batteries are super boring. Well, if you think batteries are boring, me and you have a very different definition of what boring is. We do, don't we? Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, I stayed away from V-mount batteries for quite some time because they are very expensive, but these days you can get some high quality budget V-mount batteries, and these are two of them right here. This is the ZGCine V50 and this is the Moman 99. Like Wayne Gretzky, the best hockey player of all time. Do not dispute it. Now, I use both of these batteries, but in some situations, one is better than the other, and in the other situations, the other one is better. So first, I will talk about the Moman 99. Now, Moman was kind enough to send over a review unit for you guys. This is more of your standard, typical V-mount battery, and in case I should explain V-mount for the new people. So it has a little V on it, and there's a little V connector here. So if you have a light, something like that, the control box for my my UL150 is over there, but this is my UL60 light, which I love very much. I did a review on that. You could just take the connector, slide it in, it is now locked, and now I can just power up this light over here. Oh, gee, sorry about that. I have that on 100%. I'm just gonna turn that way down to 0, and now 1. Okay, so you know what? Let's just turn it off. And so a lot of lights will come with a V-mount plate, or you can buy a V-mount plate attachment. And a lot of people will do big camera rigs. You know, they're setting up their FX6 with their monitors and all that. They will stick a V-mount battery on the back of the rails for that rig, and then just power all of the devices through one battery, because you can do that depending on the capacity and the voltage. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, when you see these big rigs, especially the bigger cameras, on the back there is usually a V-mount. This is just a Sony NPF battery, which is just you know, it's a bigger battery than the one that's in the camera, and it can power little Dougie for hours and hours. But if you have, you know, a bigger camera, you got like a Canon C70 or something, you're gonna want a V-mount battery on the back there so that all of the devices will work from that battery for quite a while. So you just make sure you get the right connector plate and the right connections, and you are good to go. But we'll stick to talking about lights because that's a lot more simple, and I am a simple man. Now, why is this thing so awesome? Well, number one, it is 99 watt hours, and if you're traveling on airplanes, usually they will not let you take anything over 100 watt hours. So this is specifically designed so that you can travel with it. And you know, grab a couple of these batteries when you're going on location on a shoot. You can power one of your lights or your camera rig, and then the people at the airport, they won't take your battery and chuck it in the garbage. So that is very good. It has 2 D-taps. There's a way to deliver power out, and you also charge it through D-tap. So if you don't have a V-mount charger, you have to buy an extra D-tap charger, which usually aren't very much, like 15 bucks or something like that. And then on the top as well, so I'll show you there's the D-tap charger right there. Cover up my eyes. Oh my God, the Sony just sticks so well to your eyes right there. And then on the top, there is, under the little rubber gasket, there are 2 little USB ports, which is great because now you can power out lots of other things too. So it is pretty bare bones here. It has a little indicator for the battery. See if I can get my finger on it. Looking at the screen, looking at my monitor. You see that, how it's lighting up? It has 5 little bars there to let you know how much charge the battery has. Now, here is what is very important about V-mount batteries, is they all have a certain amount of amps that they put out, and that's the continuous draw. Now, that makes a huge difference in what type of battery you are getting. This battery has a ridiculously impressive 15 amp draw. So, I mean, you can power 200 watt lights at 100% power. Now, you're only going to get about 30 minutes of runtime because 100 watt hours gives you the ability to run a 100 watt light at full power for 1 hour. So if you have a 200 watt light, this thing is going to be a little less than 30 minutes. Now, of course, you're not always using your lights at full power, so I have the Godox UL150, 150 watt light, and I usually use that at about 15% power, and this guy can power that for about 4 hours at 15% power. So depending on how much light you're using, this thing can last you a fairly long time. For a full breakdown of the math, I will direct you to New Layer. He did a great math breakdown of what you need to consider when what you need to consider when you are doing your V-mount battery research. But to me, the absolute key factors are watt hours, how long it will last, and amps, how much power it draws. These V-mounts usually come in 14.4 to 14.8 volts. Now, there are some V-mount batteries that come in 26 volts, but those are big batteries for big, giant, heavy-duty lights. And if you're someone who has one of those lights, you know about the 26 volt battery. So just make sure it's between 14.4 and 14.8 volts, which is pretty much the main ones you are going to find. Just make sure you don't have a 26 volt battery and try to plug that in to your regular light fixture. And if you want to know how much draw that your light or your device needs, you can simply divide the wattage by the voltage. And so like this is a 150 watt light divided by 14.8 is around 10 amps. I think it's 10.13 amps. So this thing, which is 15 amps draw that it can support, this can more than handle this 150 watt light at full power. But what about this guy right here? This from ZGCine. This is a different guy. It's not quite the robust build. It's much more light, which is nice that it's light, but it feels a lot less solid than this guy. But he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Like, first of all, he's got that cute little screen right there, and he has a surprising output of 10 amps. So he can handle my UL150 as well, but only for about 15 minutes at full power. Again, I don't use it at full power. I keep hitting this thing. Again, I don't use it at full power. When I use it at 15%, I got more than 2 hours from this bad boy right there. The screen is very helpful to see that it says 100% right there. Now, when you've attached it to a light, sometimes if it's a high-powered light, it's not going to be the most accurate reading, but it's certainly nice when you're charging, stuff like that. But the screen doesn't go off when you have it plugged in to your light, which is a bit odd, but there's no way to turn off the screen, so if that bothers you. But one of the great things, maybe the greatest thing about this light is that it has a USB-C port. You see that? So A, it has a USB-C port, but B, you can charge the battery through the USB-C port. So you don't have to charge it through the D-tap and buy an extra cable. So you have one USB and one USB-C. You have a D-tap as well. And you also have a DC out. And of course it is a V-mount battery, so you can just slap that in there, lock it in, and then he's powering my light. 10 amps, pretty good to power lights up to about 150 watts. But this guy's only a 50 watt hour capacity, which is why he only powered my UL150 for about 15 minutes. So it's basically half the output that you're getting from this guy. Now, ZGCine does sell a 99 watt one as well, 99 watt hour. So if I were to be buying these things, I would go with the 99. I would like to get as big of a capacity as I can that is also travel friendly. So, but this guy can serve a lot of great purposes. You know, if you're powering up small lights, or you know that you're going to be using, say, a UL60 on set and you only need a few hours of runtime, or you want to power multiple different devices with the USB-C cords and all of the other things. This, with a nice little screen, this guy serves a lot of great purposes. But again, this is the one they sent me. If I were to be buying one, I'm going to buy the 99 from ZGCine. And this guy right here, absolutely awesome because of that 15 amp draw. Definitely going to pick up a few of these bad boys. They the spec sheets of their runtime and their capacity definitely have checked out in all of the tests that I have done. So I want to thank Moman and ZGCine for sending these guys over. I will find many many uses for them, and I hope this gave you a little bit of an introduction into V-mount batteries if you haven't had one already. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll be sure to direct them to other people like Caleb Pike, because I'm too lazy to answer your questions. I got things to do, man. Not really. I'll answer your questions. I've got nothing to do. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, and since you're still here, why don't you check out the video I did on little Super Doug here when I tricked him out with all that small rig stuff, huh? Let's go check that out.